Welcome back to the channel and welcome to part 3 of this wireless electric synthesizer build. Now, first thing I want to do on this particular video is to put this jack onto it, 3.5mm jack, and get rid of that little speaker there because we can't really hear what it's doing properly, and I'd like to maybe record things on the computer if it goes well. So that'll be the first thing to do, and then secondarily I want to change from a square wave that you've just heard to a sine wave, something a lot more pleasant to the ear. Okay, that's done. There is some hum though, which you might be able to hear already. I've got the socket at the top left, and I've got a 47k resistor because one of the lines was the positive and I didn't want 4.5 volts going flying into the computer, so that's that 47k. I used that line there. If you're on Linux, that allows microphone to go straight through. So we do get sound now. So it works. Next thing is to clean that up and then to do the square wave to sine wave conversion. At least try and get it to be more reasonable sound, more musical sound. I'll leave the output like it is at the moment because I went onto a site to look at reducing some hiss. I wanted to make a decent low pass filter, and when I put in the figures, well, 100 nanofarads I'd need for the capacitor and a resistor of 160 ohms. Well, I was already trying to use a 150 and 100 nanofarads, but I was getting leak through from these wireless coils. That's one thing about wireless energy, it travels down wires, so ground wasn't ground. I was getting some signal bleed. I thought I'll leave that for the moment. I'll get on with changing it from square wave to sine wave. And for that, I'm over at Nuts and Volts, and they have a page that's completely ideal for this. Filtering a square wave. There's their circuit for a basic 4-stage filter, and this is the kind of wave to be expected. So yeah, that looks good to me. That's what I'm going to build. Alright, I've done that section, but I've realised something. All the capacitors go to ground, so I'm expecting bleed through. I'm going to do this live. I'm going to put that battery in and we should probably hear the output, which we don't, which is interesting. Do we get any output? Ah, got some hum. Not a great deal of a lot. Be back in a minute. Yeah, kind of. Kind of more sine wavy, but you can still hear it because of that bleed through, and it's really affected the signal level. So I think I'm going to have to bypass that section. Now I found a problem that should be able to be fixed quite readily. If I hold this in the hand, see there's interference. Right, it's terrible. If I leave it alone it's okay. Same with popping it onto here. Well, that's horrible. If I leave it alone, so I need to put something on there, wrap it in something. And there we go, wrapped a bit of electrical tape around it. Should be better now. And the answer is, yeah, that's much better, much improved. Well, at least in this video we've got output to the computer, and I've also fixed this. But what I've done next is I've got my Zoom MS70 CDR. It's a multi-effects unit and it's pretty good for ambient type of sounds. If I just turn the volume up, you can hear that going on there. And if I bring this over to one of these, you can hear we're getting some strange effects. So what I'll do is, I think, to end this video, is at least there's some value to it with perhaps a bit of music on the end, a bit of ambience, and see how this sounds. But I think it might give it a use that's quite interesting for ambient little soundscapes.